טוב, בסייעתא דשמיא, we continue with פרק כ"ב, פסוק ו'. חנוך לנער על פי דרכו. That's the famous pasuk that we all know. Okay? You have to teach, you have to educate the na'ar, the young, על פי דרכו, based on his way. גם כי יזקין, even when he will get old, לא יסור ממנה. He will not let go of it. He will not give it up. So the Gaon says like this. The chinuch of the na'ar has to happen when he's still a na'ar. דהיינו, the chinuch should be focused when the person is still young. And if you do that, okay, to educate him while to educate a person while the person is young, when the person will get old, he will not lose, he will not get away, he will not separate himself from what he was taught. Here, the na'ar, the definition of the na'ar is what? Is a young man. Yeah, it's not a katan. And we learned this from Avraham Avinu.
Young man till what age?
Until he becomes an adult. And the age of the adult, according, again, it's a very good question, yes. The she'ela is, for example, let me just take a chumash. How old was, actually, one second. Actually, where did you put this? די. כתוב וישכם אברהם בבוקר ויחבוש את חמורו ויקח את שני נעריו איתו. It was Ishmael and Eliezer. Okay? The Torah calls them Na'ar. So they were definitely older than a young man. They were not kids, right? Ishmael at that time. We're talking about the Akedat Yitzchak. So Na'ar in the Torah is a point of reference to somebody that is a zaken, that is an adult, that is an elder. So Yes, somebody that is younger than an elder has a title of Na'ar. That's the pshat here in that pasuk. But Na'ar by default, the pshat pashut of a Na'ar, yes, is somebody that is young. He cannot be called a tinok, a yeled, right? So it's an age between being a child and being an adult. Today, at the time when you were 50, according to or in the 40s, according to the Torah, you were na'ar compared to Avraham Avinu. Yes, that during the Akedah he was 100 years old. נכון? It was more than 100. It was 137, right? Because how old was Avraham Avinu during the Akedah? Huh?
Ishaq was 33.
How much?
33?
37, no? It was 37 during the Akedah. נכון? Because Yitzchak was born to Avraham when he was 100. נכון? So the Akedah was 100. It was 137. So we know that Ishmael is 13 years older than Yitzchak. נכון? So how old was
50.
Ishmael? He was 50, and he's called a Na'ar. But 50 compared to somebody that's 137, yes, I can understand why the Torah would call him a Na'ar. Can. But in the Pshat Pasuk of the Pasuk, in the Pshat Pasuk of the definition of the Na'ar, is somebody that is young. He's not a child, but he's young, meaning it's somebody that understands that he has responsibilities, what we call today adolescent, but he is still not mature enough to take on those responsibilities. So I would say today this lie between the age of a bar mitzvah, okay, until the age, I don't know, it's difficult to say because you have people that are 50 and they still are not responsible. But I would say maybe 20s. בכל אופן, that's it could be debated on, what is the definition of a na'ar. But for sure that Shlomo HaMelech, when he talks about the na'ar here, he's not talking about the na'ar of Avraham Avinu. Yes, he's referring to young adults. And I think it's between the age of the bar mitzvah when a person becomes bar mitzvah, at least at that time. Today, I guess also from the age of bar mitzvah, the kids start to understand a little bit that there is a level of responsibility. And I don't know if it ends at 20 today, but I guess at 20 the person has full, is responsible for his action according to the Torah. Yes. So let's say during prime time is those 7 years. Says the Gaon, and Shlomo HaMelech is coming to us that the chinuch has to happen during that period of time. And if you know how to be mechaner during that period of time, then whatever you install, whatever you taught, becomes part of the DNA of the behavior of the person. And the Gaon explains in greater depth. He says a person has a trait that he cannot uproot from his essence. And that trait, that tendency, that nature Says the Gaon is what Chachamim call mazal. Mazalo shel Adam. It's a Gemara in Masechet Shabbat. Okay? The Gemara says, Man de betzedek ye gever tzadkan. The Gemara says, if a person is born under the mazal, meaning the constellation that is called, the star that is called tzedek, yes, so he will have a nature to be a tzadkan. What does it mean to be a tzadkan? Says Rashi that his nature will be to give tzedakah. That will be his nature. Okay. That's that. Well, okay, I don't have Masechet Shabbat. Okay, that's what the Gemara says. So Rashi, the Gaon brings you a proof that if somebody is born under a certain constellation, yes, that makes then he's forced to behave a certain way, and that you cannot break. Yes, that influence you cannot break. So what should you do? She said that's on the good side. If you're under the mazal of tzedek, you give tzedakah. Yeah, that's good mazal. It's what happens if the person is born in a bad mazal. If you cannot break the good mazal, then you surely also cannot break the bad mazal. Yes.
Is there bad mazal?
Yes. Yes, Vaday. There's mazal bish, there's bad mazal. What does the bad mazal mean? We have to understand what bad mazal means.
Okay.
Bad mazal, the definition of bad mazal, he brings a raya. Okay? Somebody that is born under, right, the influence of Mars, the planet Mars, that is called Ma'adim. It's a red planet. Okay? So the Gemara says, for sure he's going to be Shofer Damim. This is a man that will for sure pour blood. Yes. So this person, yes, has now, says the Gemara, so what does he do? So like this, if he's a Rasha, meaning if he lets the definition of a Rasha, if he lets the nature that's within him take control, that tendency take control over his behavior, he will become a murderer. 100%. Now, if he's a Benoni, meaning Benoni, he's fighting with himself and trying to create balance. So says the Gemara, he will be Mekiz Dam, he will be a nurse. And when people will come to him, he's got, at the time they used to open the veins and let blood go to refresh the blood circulation. Or he's going to be a shochet. He's going to slaughter animals. Yes. And if he's a tzaddik, meaning the person is overcoming this nature and focusing all his action on Avodat Hashem, says he's going to be a Moel. He's going to do Brit Milah. He's going to use that nature and channel it to do Ratzon Hashem. Yes? So 3 behavior. Or you let that nature, to the instinct, and then you're a Rasha. Or you try to deal with it as much as you can. Yes? And you're going to be a nurse, or you're going to the Nusach of the Gaon, you're going to be a Shochet. Or if you're a tzaddik and you take full control over that instinct, then you're going to use it to be a mohel. I mean, you can see in people, some people, they cannot get close to blood. And others, no issues whatsoever. Yes? The same thing, the Gemara says on which day, if you're born on a Sunday, if you're born on a Monday, if you're born on a Tuesday, if you're born on a Wednesday. Yes, you have different traits of character. Says the Gaon Mivilna, those characteristic traits that the Chachamim call mazal, you cannot get away from. That's a tendency that you're born with and that you have to deal with. Rabbeinu Yonah, Rabbeinu Yonah says, it is an obligation on the parent to know those very specific characteristics of a child in order to be able to know the behavior of the child and know how to help him. Because if you don't know how to help the child and you don't know the wiring of the child, now how can you really help him? How can you guide him? And the Gaon brings a raya that lechaora, you would think that, like Andy said, bad mazal. So it's lechaora. You can say the person is born with bad mazal with like this characteristic trait. Yeah, he's not. He's not born under the star of tzedek, where he does tzedakah naturally. He's born under the ma'adim, the mazal ma'adim, right, under the influence of Mars, and therefore. He has problems. He has to fight something, yes? So he's born with disadvantages. Yeah? He's definitely born with disadvantages, yes.
But every mazal or person has to work and has disadvantages and its own issues of character.
No, but you have those. We're going to get to that. That's not true. You have people, they're born, yes, and everything goes for them. If everything goes there, they're born in the right family, with the right ashkafot, at the right time. They have good midot, they look good, and whatever they do is blessed. It's another problem. We're going to see. But you can have a mazal that is perfect. You don't have to do nothing. It's all set up for you. And we're going to see. We're going to see. You're right. We're going to see in a second. And then you have people, everything they do is a challenge. באמת, we know people like that. לא עלינו, באמת, זה קשה, זה לא פשוט. So says the Gaon like this. We learn from two major figures of Am Yisrael, yes, a lot about the mazalot of the influence of person and the impact it has on their goral, on their future. The Gemara says, okay, in Masechet Yoma, is this Yoma? No. Masechet Yoma, the Gemara says like this. Gemara talks about Shaul HaMelech, okay? And the Gemara says like this. Amar Rav Huna, I want to read the Gemara inside because זה יסודי מאוד. אמר רב הונא, כמה לחלה ולמרגיש גברא דמרא סייעי. How batuach, how safe, how secure a man is when Hashem is on his side protecting him. And he brings a proof. Shaul ba'ahat ve'alta lo. Shaul made one sin and he paid big money for it. He paid big price for it. David, בשתיים, he sinned twice, ולא עלתה לו, and he didn't pay nothing. So the Gemara explained, Shaul ba'ahat, mahi, what was the sin that Shaul did? He says, Maseh Agag. He was asked to kill Agag, yes. He didn't kill Agag, and he lost royalty. Ma'astat Dvar Hashem, and we know the whole story, Shaul, Shemuel, etc. Well, the Gemara has kushiyot on that, but he also killed Nov, Ira Kohanim. The Gemara has an answer that was after that he was rejected as a melech. Okay, but we see that he sinned one avera. He did one avera that he didn't kill Agag. Okay, and he paid a crucial price that he lost the malchut. David b'shtayim. What is it? What are the two averot that David did and he didn't pay for it? Uriah, yes, he sent Uriah Hitti, the husband of Bathsheba, to war, knowing that he's going to get killed. Avera number one. And the second, he says, Da'asata. Okay? That he counted Am Israel. And we know that you're not allowed to count Am Israel. And when he counted Am Israel at the end of his life, Dever came, like a plague came and killed a lot of people. So two Averot he did. Well, the Gemara, then what about Bathsheba, etc. We're not going to go into that question of Bathsheba. The Gemara speaks about it. So the Gemara says clearly that David HaMelech sinned two Averot, Ve'al talo, and nothing happened to him. Shaul, one Avera, and he takes the big hit. The Gemara continues. The Gemara says like this: Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel, mipnei ma lo nimshecha malchut bet Shaul. How come the malchut Shaul lost his royalty? Because he sinned. We know that he made one avera and he paid for it. The question is why? Mipnei shelo haya bo shum dofi. Because he had the perfect outbringing. Everything was smooth for him. Damar Rabbi Yochanan, Mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Yehotzadak. כן? אין מעמידים פרנס על הציבור, אלא אם כן קופה של שרצים תלויה לו מאחוריו. You cannot appoint a parnas, meaning a shaliach, yes, that handles money of the tzibur, that does not have some tainted history in his past. Why? שאם תזוח דעתו עליו, because if he starts losing his mind about the kavod and the power that he has over the tzibur, אומרים לו, חזור לאחוריך. We tell him, hey, don't forget where you come from and what you were. So make sure that you behave. So the person, knowing that where he comes from, he has to behave carefully. Yeah? He has to be careful twice. So says the Gaon, from this Gemara we learn something very interesting. This Shaul HaMelech, yes, made one sin. And why did he? And because of that sin, he paid the price. Okay. Why is that? He says because Shaul. And that's what the Gemara says. The Gemara says another Gemara says Mechila. Okay. And I have to read this one. חשוב מאוד. הנה. The Gemara says like this. Ben Shana Shaul b'molcho. After Ben Shana, at 1 year of the kingdom of Shaul. The Gemara says, what does it mean at 1 year old of the Malchut of Shaul? Amar Rav Huna. Rav Huna says, Keben Shana, Shaul was as if he was 1 year old. Shelo ta'am ta'am het. He never tasted the taste of a sin. He never sinned. He never sinned. Says the Gaon Mivina. What does it mean he never sinned? Okay. He didn't have the Yetzer Hara, yes, that he needed to overcome the sin. The Mazal of Shaul was perfect. He was aligned. He was good. Yes, he didn't have to fight anything. So he didn't have to control his Yetzer Hara. Le'avir al midotav. He didn't have to overcome his midot. David HaMelech, Admoni haya. We know that he was all kulo Admoni. He was all red. He was coming from the mazal of Kaas, from Ma'adim. He had to shed blood. That's why he was a great warrior. Yes. But he had to overcome that midah every single day of his life. The anger, the ability to fight, this characteristic of 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 confrontation. And that's why Shaul, when Shaul saw David Amelech, he didn't think it was the chosen one. Because he saw that he was already, he saw that how can that be? That this is the Melech that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to choose. But because he was Ma'avir al Midotav, right? Look at the Gaon, how the Gaon learns this Gemara. Shaul sinned one, and he paid the price. Why did he pay the price? Because his upbringing was perfect. He never had a ta'am chet. He never tasted the sin. That means he never really had to overcome anything, right? And the Chachamim teach us, whoever overcome his midot, Hashem wipes all his averot. So David HaMelech that had to overcome his nature every single day of his life, even if he did averot, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wiped it. He canceled those averot. But Shaul, that didn't have what to overcome, because everything was laid out for him perfectly, right? So when the Avera came, it was accounted for. He had to pay for it. Because there was not the mechanism of Kol HaMa'avir al Midotav. So now, says the Gaon, from a Mazal Ra, we see the protection. Right? That if somebody has a Mazal Ra and he's a tzaddik and he overcomes himself, that effort to overcome his behavior, right, protects him from the payment of his averot. However, if the person has Mazal Tov, Mazal Tzedek, Tzadkan, everything goes, he's born on the right day, at the right hour, of the right Mazal, everything goes smooth. This guy has to go and look for what he has to overcome. But if he doesn't have to overcome, if he's not built, if he's not educated to overcome on something, then when the Avera comes, it strikes right away. The punishment has to be paid. Because there's no mechanism because I'm Ma'avir al Midotav. Says down the Gaon, let's go back to Shlomo HaMelech. Shlomo HaMelech says, Chanoch na'ar al pi darko. Find the challenge in the child, in the nar. And when can you actually find the challenge? How can you? That's when the child is small, right? He grows, so you pick up on his nature. He's lazy, he's angry, he's twisted, he's manipulative, he's whatever bad trait he has. Identify it. And then when he's capable of relating to that nature, chanoch na'ar, educate him, give him the tools, yes, to be able to overcome that challenge that he lives with. And that's a promise. That is a guarantee. Gam ki yazkin, he will become old. That means that chinuch that you give the na'ar is a insurance policy of longevity. Because by teaching him on how to overcome his challenges, you're giving him the protection of the payment of the sin that he will do. So you build him an insurance policy not to have to be punished for his sins because of his efforts that he does on himself. Lo yasur mimenna. When even he's old, he's going to understand that this is what he's never going to let go, because this is what protects him. This is what gives him the siyata dishmaya. This is what the Gemara says. Yes, the person feels batuach and safe with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with him. So you have two types of people that have HaKadosh Baruch Hu with them. You have one that is born with the right mazal. Everything is good. He's born beautiful, healthy, rich, happy, right neighborhood, right friends, right schooling, right education, everything. So he feels that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with him without doing anything. That person one day, lo aleinu, crashes because of a sin. And he doesn't understand what's going on. Like Shaul, he came back from war. He thought he did everything right. And suddenly this comes down crashing him that he ma'az dvar Hashem. And then you have another person that from his struggle, he develops a kirva, a proximity with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. By overcoming his nature again and again daily, he is able to bring closer and closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And now that challenge becomes his own salvation, his own level of protection. From what? From his self. From his own self, from his own averot, which is the biggest threat of a person, is his own averot. Says the Gaon Mivilna, yes, that's another level of kirva with Hashem. So says Shlomo HaMelech, make sure to teach your children how to overcome their own challenges when he is a na'ar dehainu, when he is able to relate to that nature that is challenging, and now understand the tools you give him to overcome that challenge. And do that from the moment he's a na'ar. Educate him, raise him up like that to deal with the challenge and overcome it. And now you give him the ability to become a zaken. That's gam ki yaskin. And he will also become, even when he's going to become old, lo yasur mimenu, he will never let that go. Because he will understand that if I became old, no matter what I've done, that's not a free pass to Averot, obviously, yes? But if there are Averot, yes, if there are Averot, lechaora, I don't know, maybe it is a free pass. Because from David HaMelech, that sent Uriah, he knew what he was doing when he sent Uriah. He knew that he was sending Uriah to get killed. So maybe there's a hidush here of even of a free pass. Hashem Yishmor. I don't know. I'm scared to say that. I'm not allowed to say that. Yes, but maybe that's what comes out from this Gemara. Yes, I don't know, but I'm not. I don't know. There's a limud grade, not la halacha. Yes, but what do we learn from this? Yeah, that is what brings a person lezikna. So you protect them from the punishment, and you ensure longevity. And you build kirvat Hashem. Now that kirva, that proximity with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is bitachon b'HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is a layer of protection and security from Hashem. Andy, we're looking for life insurance. Yes, policies. This is the biggest life insurance policy for the children. This is the biggest life insurance policy. Ari Group should go and sell it. להיות אריה, כן? אריה. גיבור כארי, גיבור כארי. איזהו גיבור הכובש את יצחו. Who is the גיבור? The one that overcomes his יצר. Okay? So, and says the Gaon now, why is that so vital? He says, because if you don't do that, then you lose on all fronts. Why? Because if you don't teach your child, the na'ar, on how to overcome his own challenge, then lechaora, how are you going to educate him? You're going to force him to do something. Yeah. Instead of him understanding, you know what, I'm a little lazy, I like to sleep, I need to overcome that. I need to overcome my sleep and be awake and go to shul on time because it's the right thing to do. And sleeping is laziness, and laziness is just going to hurt me. So I'm going to find a way to overcome that laziness. Yeah, you build the muscle of resilience. If you don't do that, then what's going to happen? Shimon, you have to wake up in the morning. You have to go to shul. Shimon, wake up. Shimon, wake up. He has no choice. My father says he wakes up. Yes. It says that only lasts as long as he fears you, as long as he needs you. Says the guy, on the moment he no longer carries your burden and he feels free and he can do whatever he wants, right away he throws those responsibilities and leave me alone. I'm on my own now. I'm going to do what I want, not what you force me to do. Why? Because at the end, you cannot fight his mazal. You cannot fight his nature. And if you didn't build him the tools for him to overcome his nature is going to come back to the surface. Yes? You cannot suppress it anymore because the weight of the parenting is no longer relevant. So suddenly you see a beast come out, at you, and an animal. I don't understand. I've done so much. I've educated you. I forced you to go to school. I forced you to sit and learn. I did so much for you. How can you turn your back on me like this? Says the guy, because you never taught how to overcome and how to identify my own challenges. And then, lo alenu, that's when the child takes a tangent and becomes like a Peri Adam. Peri Adam. And you cannot blame the child. Lemase, says the Gaon. You cannot blame that child anymore. That adult is the produce of your lack of understanding on how to teach and raise a child. This is such a fundamental lesson for us, and for the chinuch of our children. Don't force, don't force, and don't suppress a nature. Identify it instead, pinpoint it, and show the child this is a nature and this is how we overcome it. And that effort will be the best investment and protection you can give to a child. Any question on the pasuk? This is a bunker buster, huh, pasuk? It's not a. That's how the Gaon learns that pasuk. Chanoch lanach midachko.
And we only can teach the kid how to solve it if we did it for ourselves first.
That's taking it to the next level. Because if you don't work on yourself, the child's gonna tell you, "Why you're coming to teach me? Look at yourself first. You're the lazy bum. You come and tell me not to be lazy." You're the angry person, and you're coming to be not to be angry. Vadai. That's where bravo. That's where it's called when you teach with your own by your own behavior. There's a term for that. I don't.
Role model.
Yeah, when you're a role model, yes, and you're mechanech, you educate through your own work. Good, nachon. But I think that it comes with it. Meaning when you are devoted and dedicated to that cause, like teaching your child, yeah, is teaching yourself also. Because at the end you cannot it's impossible for you to be genuine and actually teach something to the child, okay, to the na'ar, when you know that you're not like that. How can you tell a child not to speak in shul if you speak all the time? How can you teach your child to be on time for davening, for prayer, if you arrive right by the Amidah? It's impossible. You know that it's impossible, and you know you don't have a ta'ana. You know you cannot say nothing. Who are you fooling? So by default, when you want to teach something, by default it involves yourself also, and it engages your commitment. So this is the Chanoch Lanar. But it goes weiter, it goes deeper. The Gaon and Rabbeinu Yonah, like I brought, they say, don't you need to understand the main mazal, meaning the main challenge that the child is facing, and to each their own, right? For someone is whatever, yeah. For one is ta'avot of olam hazeh, for the other one is laziness, for the other one is anger, for the other one is whatever. Yes, to each their own. So that's why that's why it's so beautiful. There is not one universal chinuch. Because the definition of chinuch, now, if we come to determine and define what is chinuch, is teaching the child, yes, the tools that he specifically needs in order to overcome his own personal challenges. Teaching the tools needed to overcome the personal challenge a child has. This is chinuch. It's not anything else. And when you think about it, it's the most fundamental vessel that needs to be addressed, that needs to be fixed, that needs to be built. By doing that, everything falls into place. Everything falls into place. But if this he doesn't have, so what did you give? You didn't give nothing. What did you give? Flavors. But the ikar, did you give the right vitamins? No, you didn't give no vitamins. But I gave him candies. I don't understand why is the kid sick. But did you give him the protein? Did you give him the fibers? Did you give him the right? No, I didn't. So matam balbel, tamoch. Like who are you fooling? I think that lechatchila, yes, on the ideal world, we should have a chart with the definition of each child. Yes, a chart. Who and Bemet we should. Bemet, that's an avodah that we should do. We should all sit down, okay, be yeshuvat da'at on our own or with the wife, and okay, open a chart. Child number one, okay. What is which nature, yes, predominantly handicaps him in his own way. Okay, that's the mazal. Okay, now, but knowing him, how do we help that child now overcome that challenge? How would you overcome it? How would it? Okay, and now plan of action. This is how I am mechanech that child. Finished. Nigmar sipur. Now child number two, child number three, and that's it. And build a program around each child. Chaval, we didn't learn this like 20 years ago. Yes, אבל I mean, it's never too late. Yeah, because they're still they're still begeder nar. And when you think about it, also after that, when you come and ask for advice on chinuch, you have a real question. It's founded. It's after work, after analysis, after experience. You don't just come and say, I'm trying. I give him a good chavruta. I give him some good school, but he has behavioral issues. He doesn't listen to me. Okay, he has tantrums. You were never mechanech. זה המציאות. And also never forget, it's also very important. Do not force. Do not impose. Because by imposing, you're suppressing the mazal that is like a spring. It's a question of time before the spring pops and explodes. The moment there is no more parenting authority, that's it. You see the boomerang effect in that child. Hashem yishmor v'yatzil.
Robert, we did see, didn't we see a Pup came ago? I don't remember where it is. I'm going to try and look, but we saw different places where Shlomo Melech gave us direction to break and push and go against the nature. And I think we gave the example of if the son doesn't want to wake up for shul, push him, let him go back to sleep afterwards, break the
Yes,
nature.
but again, it's not by enforcing him. Here, it's by giving him the tools to overcome that nature.
Mhm.
That's the chinuch. You understand what I'm saying? You're right. Yeah, that there is a mission. There is a mission. Yes, whether it's whatever the midah is, but you have to identify the midah. You have to have now that midah. The change of that midah becomes the mission, and then how do you how do you cure that problem?
So it's very promising because until it felt, I felt until this pasuk, if you didn't handle certain characteristic traits up until a certain age, then maybe maybe we missed that window. But I think this is telling you that the window's not closed for a long
As long
time.
as it's begeder na'ar,
Yeah.
meaning again, if we add now the parameter, the last parameter of the pasuk of the Gaon, as long as the child, yes, has some level of respect or fear for the parenting authority, you have a chance. The moment the child no longer feels, yes, responsible or submissive to the authority of a parent, it's finished. That window closes up. And
It's a great comeback, eh?
Bezrat Hashem, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah.
That's after Vigadat al Mincha.
Yeah.
Please send it to the group so we try to listen again. We don't have to find it out in
Yeah, I'm going to
Yetzirah
send
of YouTube.
no Chazak. Okay, so we just Baruch Hashem, we did the pasuk of